ranking every Call of Duty Zombies boss from worst to best. This list is going to be 90% subjectivity, so you're probably going to disagree like horribly with me on a lot of these picks. And it's going to include basically any enemy that's not just a regular zombie that spawns in outside of boss fights. The worst boss in Call of Duty Zombies history are the Black Ops 4 Catalyst Zombies. I feel like these are so bad because they just hurt the potential of Black Ops 4 so much. Remember when they added George Romero as kind of a way to stop for camping? Well, it almost feels like they added these Catalyst Zombies as a way to make you not want to train. They all have different speeds and they'll just mess up your train no matter what you're trying to do. And the reason why they're the very worst is because I think they hurt the maps themselves more than any other zombie type on this list. Number 39 is going to be denizens. Every time you even dare take a step into the fog, you'll start getting your eyes clawed at on transit. They make playing one of the worst maps in zombies history even worse, and punish you for just trying to get from point A to point B. Number 38 is going to be the astronaut zombie. I can't tell you how many times I've come around the corner not expecting someone to be there and got my shit headbutted back to spawn, losing my juggernaut perk. And of course, if the astronaut takes like Jugger speed cola, that means you gotta go all the way back to the earth to get them back. And he spawns in like every single round pretty much. Easily one of the worst bosses in zombies history. Next up are the tigers from 9. They make playing the map 9 an absolute nightmare. They have this pounce attack that will literally hit you even if you're like way across the map. It's utterly ridiculous. I feel like they're just brokenly strong, and when you combine it with all the other different bosses on the map, it just gets overwhelming. The 5th worst Call of Duty Zombies boss of all time is gonna be Nova Crawlers. They spawn in every 3 seconds on the map Kino or Toten. They don't offer you any reward when you kill them. They also don't necessarily add anything to the difficulty of Kino. They just make things annoying. And any zombie type that makes it so you can't see for periods of time is always going to be lower on the list. Next up is Mimics from Cold War. On a map like Firebase Z, it feels like they spawn in every 3 seconds. They disguise themselves as random like salvage and stuff around the map, but it's obviously just going to be a Mimic spawn. So it's not like it's cool or creative in that way, in my opinion. And they hook you in, and they're just overall a really big nuisance. Number 34 and 33 is going to be a tie between the Marauder and the Destroyer from 9. Again, maybe it's just because when you add all of these zombie boss types together, it just makes it seem like you're playing a different game at that point. But in my opinion, the Marauders and the Destroyers don't really add anything interesting to the map, and they spawn in so unbelievably much. I always have this feeling when I'm playing 9 that I'd rather just be shooting zombies. Like, please just stop spawning in tigers and catalysts and marauders every 3 seconds. Like, please just let me shoot zombies. 32 is Valkyries. They feel very out of place on Gerard Krovi. I don't think they really fit the aesthetic of the map. They have like a million HP for some reason as well. And yeah, I just feel like if Valkyries were replaced with hellhounds on this map, it would have made for a better experience. 31 is Blight Fathers. I just realized the lower half of this list is completely filled with the Black Ops 4 bosses. Yeah, but for all the reasons that I've been saying, just there's too many bosses on Black Ops 4. I just want to shoot zombies at the end of the day. Please just stop spawning in a big like 7 million HP thing that sucks me in and also just vomits on everything, so you have to spend extra money just to buy whatever you wanted to buy. Next up is going to be the Napalm Zombie from Shangri-La. He's very annoying. If you get anywhere near him, he'll blow up and do a ton of damage, as well as there's that one step of the Easter egg where you have to like take him around, and that step has always been very annoying to me. If you get too close to him, he'll blow up. If you're too far away from him, he'll blow up. It's just irritating. 29 is Skeletons. Skeletons can only be killed through headshots, and I like the idea of adding some sort of skill into zombies, meaning you have to kind of aim a little bit if you want to be able to kill these. But they have such a high spawn rate and they run around with their little shields out. It's just, to me, the single biggest thing that holds Ancient Evil back. Number 28 is going to be the Thrashers, another zombie type that seems to spawn in every 3 seconds. They don't offer you anything when you kill them. They're just kind of pointless. I will say that aesthetically, they fit the map Zetsubo no Shima perfectly, and I'm 100% cool with them being on the map. I just feel like the spawn rate on them needed to be tuned down a little bit. Most of the zombie types in this next section of the video are going to be like types that I'm more indifferent towards than anything else. Like 27 is the Tempest from Cold War. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care in one direction or the other. 26 is the Spiders from Zetsubo no Shima. They're cool aesthetically. Spider rounds are cool, I guess, but I am really just indifferent towards them at the end of the day. 25 are the Shrieker Zombies from Shangri-La. Shangri-La was the first map that had like 2 different types of special zombies that spawn in on regular rounds. And although when a Shrieker spawns in, it's a little bit less scary than when a napalm spawns in. Shriekers still can like get in your face, and again, like I said earlier, any zombie type that makes it hard to see is always going to be towards the bottom of this list. Next up is the Pentagon Thief. The Pentagon Thief can either be the worst zombie boss type in the world or the best, based off of whether or not you're actually in a position to kill him or not. If you don't have a good enough gun to kill him yet, you're probably going to end up losing your gun, which is very frustrating. But if you are in a position to kill him, obviously you could end up getting a bonfire sale, which is really nice. 23rd is the Giganese. I really like the idea of the Giganese, and honestly he'd probably be towards the top of my list if he didn't have so much HP. I don't have like the statistics for all of these boss types pulled up, but if I had to guess, I would say the Giganese has the most HP, and probably by a long shot. I just remembered one that's pretty obvious later on in the list that you'll see, but other than that one outlier, I'm pretty sure the Giganese has the most HP. But yeah, really cool idea. I like his abilities. I like everything about him other than just the sheer amount of HP he has. 22 is the Disciples from Cold War. I do think I like the idea of the Disciple, like this idea of you got to kill the Disciple or else he's gonna power up these zombies. I think it's a better take on the Catalyst zombies from Black Ops 4. Unfortunately though, I feel like I sound like a broken record with a lot of these, but the Disciple spawns way too much. 21 is the Avogadro from Transit. I love the feel of the Avogadro. Like I feel like there's not another Cod Zombies boss that gives that feel of the Avogadro. Like the entire sky is lit up with lightning as this mysterious being is like traveling from one area to the other, like, and he's just forever looming threat over you. Unfortunately, the actual gameplay of killing the Avogadro is very annoying. There's only a handful of ways to actually do that, and of course he doesn't drop you anything when you actually kill him. Honestly, if the Avogadro drops something like really cool, like I don't know, like a pack-a-punch weapon or a free ray gun or something like that, honestly I think I would have the Avogadro towards the very top. Next up is another one that I am indifferent towards, is the Vampire Zombies, and I think this also does include the Nosferatus. They die relatively quickly, they spawn in somewhat frequently, but not too much in my opinion. I'm just for the most part completely indifferent towards them, but I feel like a lot of people absolutely hate them, so if you're somebody that hates them, please let me know why. 19 is going to be the Zombie Monkeys. These are the ones from Shangri-La that come and steal your drops. I love the idea of the Zombie Monkeys, like they come in, they steal your drop, and you actually have the potential to get a perk bottle from them. Unfortunately though, sometimes I just want to have my drop, you know what I mean? I just want to have my max ammo, kind of shoot a few clips, and then pick up the max ammo, and you can't do that when you're playing Shangri-La. I was thinking about this, and what if when you killed the monkey that spawns in the spawn of Shangri-La, what if when you killed that one, no more monkeys would spawn in for like 3 rounds after that? That way you're giving the player more control over when the monkeys spawn or not. Next up are going to be the Jumping Jacks from Die Rise. Relatively cool boss. They're slightly annoying to kill, but you're pretty much never going to die on a Jumping Jacks round. Obviously, if you kill them without shooting them, you can get a free perk, meaning they're a reliable way to get every single perk on Die Rise. Overall, pretty solid boss. Next up are the Templar Zombies from Origins. People absolutely hate them. I, however, think that they add a decent amount of game diversity into the map Origins, meaning that at the start of a round, you have to run across the entire map, which can create some intense situations. 16 are the Parasites from Black Ops 3. Parasite round is always just going to be a free round. You love to see it. If we were only talking about the Shadows of Evil Parasites, they'd probably be even higher. But if we were talking about the Revelations Parasites, they'd probably be lower. Because for some reason on Revelations, like 8,000 parasites spawn in for like no reason whatsoever. Meaning that Parasite rounds can actually be longer than regular rounds as you're progressing through the high rounds. Next up are Meatballs. Meatballs are just like hellhounds, except they're in the form of a meatball. You love to see a meatball round. They also drop the Xenomatter, which is one of the parts to the Wonder Weapon. Meatballs are just a solid Cod Zombies boss. Similar to the Meatballs come the Tormentors. They pretty much just run at you and blow up if they hit you. They don't do that much damage, so a Tormentor round is essentially a free round on Marauder and Untoten. Number 13 and number 12 is a two-way tie between Keepers and Furies. They don't offer you any rewards, but they're also not hard to kill whatsoever. And it might be controversial that I have them this high, but come on, what's not to love about these guys? Just look at them. Just come, like, honestly, just look at them. 11, another controversial one. We got the Stokers from Voyage of Despair. Despair. Why do I have the Stokers this high? I don't know, I just like them. In my opinion, if you remove the Catalyst zombies from Voyage of Despair, just think about how much better of an experience it would be. The Stokers are just like your classic Call of Duty Zombies boss that spawn in once every like 4 rounds or something like that. You kill them, it's not like they have that much HP, and the Stokers drop a key that can let you get the free wonder weapon. Number 10 are werewolves, because who doesn't want werewolves in Call of Duty Zombies? I love how perfectly the werewolves fit the aesthetic of Dead of the Night. I love that there's a way to kill them even faster with the silver bullets. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like them along with the Stokers are some of the only well-balanced bosses that made its way into Black Ops 4. Number 9 are going to be the Space Monkeys from Ascension. Ascension is a ridiculously easy map. Imagine for a second that the Space Monkeys were replaced with hellhounds. It would be even easier. The Space Monkeys also give you the opportunity to have every single perk in the game, which is really nice, but there is a nice risk to reward ratio in the sense that they could also steal your perks. So it all depends on how well you can keep the Space Monkeys at bay to determine how many perks you actually end up with. Number 8 is another one that gives you free perks. It's the Ghost Ladies from Buried. Another nice risk to reward. They steal all of your points if you let them hit you, but if you manage to get all the way through the mansion, obviously you can get a free perk. You can do this once every 5 rounds, meaning you can get all the perks in the game. And also, just to talk about the aesthetic, going through the entire ghost mansion fighting ghost ladies is just something that adds so much to the map Buried, and I couldn't imagine that map without the ghosts. Number 7 is the Megaton from Cold War. One of the best zombie bosses of recent years. I really do like the Megaton. He has a decent amount of HP, then he splits into 2. Obviously the Megaton is a really big part of the Demon Sheet Easter egg. Yeah, I don't know, I just really like the Megaton. Next up is the Mangler. Mangler was first seen on Gorod Krovi, and then obviously the Mangler returned later to Cold War. The Mangler fits the theme of Gorod Krovi really well. Just a big aggressive dude that just shoots you from a distance, does a decent amount of damage, but also isn't necessarily that much of a bullet sponge. Number 5 is George Romero. George Romero, in my opinion, was the first ever super iconic Call of Duty Zombies boss. He has the most HP of any boss that's on this entire list, making him very hard to actually kill. Obviously, if you do manage to kill him, you can get a free perk. There's kind of a nice balance where if you piss him off, you could always run into the water and kind of prevent him from just going berserk on you. Everyone loves George Romero. I mean, what's not to love about him? Number 4 is the first Call of Duty Zombies boss. It's the Hellhounds. Every time you hear the announcer say, "Fetch me their souls," you just know you're in for a nice, easy, relaxing Hellhound round. Obviously, they were a lot harder to kill in a game like World at War than in recent Call of Duty games. But yeah, Hellhounds were kind of that first boss zombie type to kind of take away from the monotony of just shooting zombie after zombie. Number 3 is going to be Brutus. The warden from Alcatraz prison turned zombie is such a cool concept. Sure, it's annoying when he locks down your perks and makes you spend like a ridiculous amount of money trying to unlock each individual one, but the overall just feel of playing Mob of the Dead and having Brutus spawn on you is just an absolutely terrifying experience for the first time, and it would be impossible for me to not put him this high on the list. Number 2 is going to be the Panzer Soldat. The first time I ever spawned into Origins, reached round 8, and then heard the Panzer horn, I trembled in fear. The Panzer Soldat spawning in our round 8 forces you to get set up by that round 8, because if you don't, you already know that you're probably going to die to him. That is, as long as you don't have like a somewhat decent gun. Obviously, it's even better if you manage to get a staff by round 8, but not everybody can do that, so a lot of us have to fight him off with the MP40. I probably would have put the Panzer at number 1 if they didn't give him those shock charges on denizens, which, if I haven't made it obvious, any boss that has like some sort of stun attack, I'm automatically gonna put lower. So if you kind of average the two of the Origins Panzer and the denizens Panzer, it comes in lower than my number 1 spot, which is the Margo from Shadows of Evil. What's not to love about the big tentacle monster? He's got 3 big ol' heads that you have to shoot and break open to kill him. In my opinion, this is the perfect balance for a zombies boss. Remember when I said earlier that the skeletons on 9, it was a good idea that they made them headshot only? Well, in my opinion, this is a better way of doing that exact same thing. If you have something like a ray gun, you can take out one of the heads, you know, right away pretty much. Also, you could always drop the civil protector on the Margo's head for an insta kill. I don't know, I think for the rest of my life, I'll always have a special place in my heart for the Margwas from Shadows of Evil. Let me know what you think. What's your favorite boss of all time?